as a devoted mom, you actually bring up a few different, I guess, perspectives or lenses to the table because you're the mom of multiples.
Yes, I certainly am. That was, a lot of people said, "Oh, you have two kids on top of, two children on top of twins. You should be okay with it." No, that was having twins is a whole different ball game.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I had to embrace is that I needed help for one thing,
Mhm.
and I also got involved with a club that had various moms of multiples of like twins, triplets, quadruplets. So that was really a big help to me. It gave me
Hmm.
empowerment
I bet.
Right.
and someone else to lean on.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and in the midst of it, you were in North Carolina and you transferred
Well, South Carolina,
to South
and
Carolina.
then we transferred here,
Hmm.
my husband's job when they were 6 months old. So you can imagine.
Yeah, yeah. But we've spent some time on the show talking about, again, building support systems and
Hmm.
you being, how did you find out there was a multiples group? I mean, I know there's groups for everything,
hmm
but I had never heard of that until you told me that you were a part of this multiples group.
My husband, at his job, actually it was a mom with multiples, and she happened to be from South Carolina as well. So she connected me with the group, and that's pretty much how I became involved. But there are groups in various states.
Hmm.
So if you would just use your Google abilities, you can Google Moms of Multiples Clubs or something like that, and it should have a link pop up. So there are a lot in different areas if you're not here in
Right.
South Carolina.
And
Awesome.
Meetup is the
Yeah,
other one that I
please
think
know.
that I love.
What did you say, Tosh?
Meetup is a website that I've just started using recently. So you
Mhm.
can it's even as specific as children born from January 2012 to August 2012. So that you can socialize and your kids can socialize with kids that are exactly their age, going through exactly the same thing. So I'm sure there's probably a ton of multiple children groups on Meetup as well. So
Yeah, and you can check Big Tent too. It's another one, Big Tent
oh, I hadn't heard of that
.com,
one. Big
that
Ten.
has the different groups that you can look for in different states, and that's what we use in my group as for like people signing up for memberships and stuff. So
Mm-hmm.
Big Tent is another good resource to do.
Oh,
Good, good,
cool.
good. Can we put that on maybe on our Facebook?
Mm-hmm.
And there's going to be a few resources that Natasha's going to share with us. And what we'll do is she'll, tell us where they are as we're live, but we also will put it on our Facebook. Um, so it's good that I'm glad that you're here. I do want to say that we're very fortunate that Sylvia Global sponsors this program and allows us to come together with devoted moms from all around the world.
Yes.
Allows Tasha and I to spend some time together and just broaden our circle to take language from the whole Google thing. Everything's about your circle. And
Circle.
we keep adding to our circle. So we just wanted to make sure that we were really grateful that they are affording us the opportunity.
So before we get kind of into what we can do with your kids over the summer, I thought this would be a good segment, and especially Natasha, you can join in with us. There is a lot. I mean, when I say a lot, I mean a lot going on in our world right now. Just from one spectrum to the other, it's just all over the place. So just wanted to, go over some of the things that are happening in our world today, and then specifically how it may affect us as devoted moms. What we can talk to our children about, or how it will impact, our family life. So the first one I've seen a lot, trending a lot, seen it on Facebook a lot, and actually a lot of misinformation going back and forth is about Nelson Mandela. And he is, at this moment, definitely still alive.
Mhm.
And last I checked, he's actually doing better than he was doing last night. which is just amazing, just completely amazing to me. And so on one hand, you know, he's 94 years old. He has done some incredible things in his life. He has really lived his life to the fullest, and it's a blessing that he was even here and that our lives were touched by him. And so when he does make his transition, you know, there will be tears, but it'll also be a very happy day. But just to watch this transformation of him kind of on the brink and then coming back and really fighting this as he's fought his entire life. So I did want to share with all the devoted moms out there. You're seeing Facebook pages say, and people RIPing Nelson Mandela. He is in fact still alive. Sorry for that background noise.
It's a lovely background noise.
Sounds like a melody, actually.
One I've heard before.
Right. Well, you know, and if we can just spend a little bit of time talking about transition from life to afterlife. And depending on, I think, where your faith system is, when you start to talk about palliative care and hospice, it's very typical for an individual to actually get better before they pass. That's a part of the, I think to me, it's God's grace, allowing for the family to be able to see and engage and really take advantage of that little bit of time that's left. My grandmother got much better, and then by the time we, of course, left the hospital and got home and took our shoes off, the phone rang, and she had transitioned. And so it's kind of typical when someone is in that time, and we hope that they make this miraculous, you know, rejuvenation back to life. But in all honesty, you know, I actually responded to a Facebook post that Tasha put on, and I said I'm excited for him to go and get that reward, because he has fought the good fight. He has been a faithful servant. And I don't want to think of him being here just to make us feel better. And I can imagine, you know, my dad, the day that my dad does that, having that mature outlook. But I do know that, you know, he's left us with such a legacy. And it's going to be our responsibility to keep, you know, to take it to the next level. Right. And it's a natural part of life, you know, that there is death. But I send out my prayers and encouragement and just positive energy to his immediate family, but also to his country family. Yeah. Just because people are going to have to now step up. And that's, you know, that's kind of hard. And I'm prayerful that he has prepared people to be in the leadership role that he's going to leave a huge gap and a huge footprint for them to fill.
That's true.
Natasha, do you have any memories of when you first heard the name Nelson Mandela?
When I heard his name, I really didn't understand. You know, when he was released from prison, I don't know. I must have been like in high school. I don't know how long ago that was.
Yeah.
But you know, it didn't come across really of who he was. So I had to kind of look at the news, do my research and different things to find out, you know, how important he, you know, really, you know, is to the people of Africa, South Africa. So getting back to what you said about, you know, him getting well and things like that, people not wanting to let go, but it may be a time where they just have to realize that they have to let it take its course or whatnot, and he'll go when he's ready. And like Regina said, he's fought a hard fight, and you know, maybe it's time for him, that old Southern in me, you know, that's how we and go on. So that's basically my take on.
Yeah, it's funny because I still don't use shell gas. So devoted moms, for those who might be a little bit younger, when Nelson Mandela was being held and there was apartheid going on in South Africa, meaning that there was a huge discrimination between blacks and whites. Um, One of the things was that we were asking companies to divest. And there were lists of companies who were operating in South Africa, and there was this big, huge economic movement to say, if you're operating in South Africa, then you are in fact supporting apartheid, which is the oppression of a group of people based on their race and also on their economic status, and it was just very oppressive. It was like supporting slavery.
Right.
And so there were these lists, and so it was every company, every American company, and even not American companies, there was this list, and you could look at this list and say, well, I'm not buying your product. And I can remember one of the last companies to divest was Shell, the gas station.
Mm.
And I can remember needing gas and talking to a friend and saying, well, I need to get some gas, but the only station that's open is a Shell station. And I just cannot go to the Shell station. And I remember him saying, Nelson Mandela is not going to come push your car when you're I'm hanging around with that guy for sure.
Right.
But later, for him to come, for the evolution to him then becoming president of South Africa, I still can't. So perhaps I need to practice some forgiveness, and next time I need gas, I might go to Shell. I'll think about that.
Yeah, I think about that.
Tasha, you being a little bit younger, well, a whole lot younger, I'm sorry. What were things that you found fascinating, or when you were introduced to who Nelson Mandela was, and this big figure that was still among us?
Oh, I can always remember, and in fact, it's something that I think as a summer project I'm going to talk to and teach my kids about. But it's his calm, peaceful demeanor. Because no one or everyone would understand if he had a chip on his shoulder, if he was mad, always angry, and everybody would understand that. I mean, after all that he's been through, because we could go through something not even close to what he went through and carry it for years. And he went through just this massive life transformation pushed upon him, undeserving. And he came out just this peaceful, gentle, meek, not weak, but meek man, very powerful, but meek. And that, I think, spoke volumes to me, because I, would have assumed that he would have, been released from prison and just taken names, and just wrecking shop, And in a way he kind of did, but he didn't do it in the way that I would have envisioned, with my, especially when I was growing up, I had a very quick temper, I snapped all the time, and just out of maturity I've learned how to calm that in me and respond to things differently. And so I definitely learned a lot about how to forgive and how to really get what you need and want, without having to use, anger and bitterness to achieve it. So that's my biggest lesson from him.
Yeah, you could definitely, if you're carrying around some anger, he's definitely a demonstration of how, what forgiveness looks like.
Right.
And I was trying to look up the name of the movie that was that was not long ago came out about the South African soccer team.
Invictus.
Invictus. And so for folks who may not be familiar with, who President Mandela was and who he was to the world, not even just to South Africa, that was a really good movie that, to me, gave us additional information and insight to, just how did he bring that nation together. And so I know that's a movie that I'm going to watch probably with my 9-year-old. I don't know about with my 7-year-old. I'll have to think about that.
There's a couple of hard scenes to watch in that one.
There are,
Mm-hmm.
but I do think that it's important that we do use this as an opportunity to raise their awareness of it has not been easy, and it's still not easy for lots of people around the world.
Right.
So what else is trending? I mean, I think that's to me, like, that's the major, but there's some other things that are going on also.
Yeah, I mean, well, we have the Trayvon Martin case. That's in its 5th day. And yesterday, what was really trending, and actually still today, is the cross-examination of Trayvon Martin's girlfriend. It hasn't really been determined what their relationship was. And, you know, it's been interesting because I've been watching kind of a little bit of the trial and then watching, you know, some of the news outlets and their take on her testimony. Right. And I really think that at the end of the day, she's a very credible witness, only because you can tell she's not coached. She's not, you know, you can tell that what's coming out of her is very real. Of course, her experience with being in front of national audience and even in front of lawyers is probably null. And so she just has been very real. And so that has thrown a few people off. Yes, most definitely. And you know, and she's received some quite negative press from people especially on social media. And right. I actually posted something earlier about, you know, we get kind of up in arms about what Paula Deen said and, you know, how she needs to pay for what she said, which I agree. But then on the flip side, many of our own race have been mutilating this young girl on social media. Wow. And so we expect other people to talk about us in high regard, but we don't talk about each other in high regard. And so I had to kind of check myself a little bit because I even saw a joke about her and I giggled, and then I quickly thought that was just completely and totally inappropriate. I can't imagine talking to your boyfriend pretty much about nothing one day and then the next being in the national media, national spotlight, in an experience that she never thought she was going to be in. Yeah. And holding her own for the most part, you know, and, you know, losing her cool a couple times, but definitely holding her own for the most part.
Well, I haven't seen the her testimony yet. I was going to pull it up on CNN, but I did read Facebook, of course, because you can find out a lot of different things, like you said, on Facebook with the comments and stuff. And I've read a lot of negative things about her, but it was some people who kind of tried to, you know, let them know that she is a teenager. You know, she is young. She's, you know, Haitian. She doesn't really probably know the, you know, the legal system and stuff. And she's just being, like Tasha said, real. She's being real. And you can tell that she, you know, wasn't being coached. So I said I was going to look at it myself to kind of, you know, form my own opinion, because you have to be really careful about, you know, what you read on Facebook.
Yeah, where you get your information and can really be a good thing, a plus and a minus. I think that, you know, this is just the beginning of the trial, and I think that trial has such implications for race relations, particularly in America. And I think everybody's just kind of on edge. And so any diversion from what's really happening, I think is easier than, you know, the reality of a young man going to the store to purchase some candy and then chatting with his girlfriend is dead and at the hands of another. And so I definitely sent out, I think about the devoted mom, Trayvon's mother. I think about the young lady's mother who is there supporting and encouraging her to do what is in their value system. And I think as moms, that's what we sometimes have to do, because I think I would have had some challenges on saying, do I want to expose my daughter to the world, and what that means, because the world can be very, very mean and it can be very supportive. So I just hope that she gets the supportive energy versus a lot of the negative. Thinking about phenomenal women, which even though she's a young lady, I think that she is a phenomenal girl. And I'm hoping that this will just launch her into being a phenomenal woman. But we can't help but to give big ups to Tammy Duckworth, an Illinois representative who was really who was really on top of it on yesterday. She spent some time talking about her passion, and I was trying to find how many hours did she spend on that floor talking about as a witness for claiming veterans' disability, and just how broken that system is, but also really having to call people on the carpet on how veterans who have been disabled and even have lost limbs, how they're being denied their ability to get resources to take care of themselves and their families. And so she is also part of the trending. If you want to read more about her, I really do like the Huffington Post. I think they get kind of straight to the point. And I love that they will let you go further, but they stay current and they kind of get to the point. But she is definitely someone that I admire, and took a step forward for those folks who have fought on behalf of our country and our freedom. So what else caught your eye on the trending side?
Well, another side, this is something that we haven't really spoken about much. We don't talk a lot about sports or anything on our show. I personally don't know a whole lot, although I have a 7-year-old who can just replay stats like nobody's business. And
we got Natasha on today. Being a media specialist isn't the only thing she brings.
Oh, good. Okay. Okay. So trending, Aaron Hernandez, who just recently received a contract over the next couple of years for $40 million, who was a tight end for the Patriots, was arrested on murder charges, and is being held with no bail. And what's so interesting to me is that, and we've seen this over and over again, but money, fame, notoriety, it goes out the door when you don't have a grounding. And so it doesn't even matter, because some people, I've heard, how could he do this? He's got a $40 million contract. He threw it all away. But sometimes when you make stupid decisions, those stupid decisions are just based on, our lack of something that we didn't learn from, or something that we still need. And so it doesn't matter if we have, a great job, or been college educated, or have a $40 million contract. So some of the evidence has been very jarring to hear, and of course, I guess he's been alleged to murder him, and we will see as the case progresses, what comes out. But there's definitely already a lot of jarring information that could be very detrimental to Mr. Hernandez.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting. Some of the conversation has been around the team that he plays for. Natasha, you probably know who that is.
Patriots.
So the Patriots. Is that New England?
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
Okay. So I'm in the kitchen making the dip. Drinking.
I'm refilling drinks.
Yeah.
I'm not watching the game.
She's on Facebook. What is that they just did? And I admire that. It's just not a facet that I've decided to develop. But some of the question is around the economic impact, and even some of the unequal treatment, which makes me wonder if the lawyers were tighter with the sign-on bonus, where he got $9 million already, and the Patriots are asking for it back. What? That just floors me, because first of all, for a sports figure to get $9 million just says something about our value system. But Natasha, I'm sure you know he's really a great player. So,
Well, that's peanuts compared to some contracts and signing bonuses. Nine million is nothing, really. That's just what they call probably chump change or whatever for some
Isn't that
athletes.
I
crazy?
just saw a big soapbox that I would love to get up on, but I'm going to just thank Sylvia Global for allowing us to be able to talk about things that are trending. There's lots of more things that we'll talk about, but we really do appreciate it. Sylvia Global gives us the platform and the opportunity to sit around and have a coffee break and talk about how absurd it is that someone would get paid that much money to toss a pigskin. Okay, I'm sorry, I lost it. I'm sorry, my bad, my bad. You know how devoted moms do not. This is not new for you.
Right,
So,
right. So
but
let's get into why we even have Miss Natasha on today. Although we could continue to talk about more trending topics. I mean, there's probably about 6 or 7 that are just out there. So we may have to talk about them again next week, and see how, they've progressed over the next 7 days. But as Regina introduced her earlier, she's a media specialist and also has 4 beautiful children. And so as a devoted mom and a devoted media specialist, she has some insight on how we can keep our kids occupied during the summertime. And it's interesting because before I became a work from home mom, the summer was just like any other season for me. Every day we woke up and I took them to camp or daycare or somewhere and I went to work. And so I didn't have to worry about, I let somebody else worry about what they did and what they ate.
Okay.
And so in the last 4 years, I've had to, and I'm so excited to hear what some of your resources are, because now that I am home with 3 children, there are some days that we don't even get out of our PJs, and I'm okay with that. But I definitely want to make sure that their summer is fun and kind of memorable, and so I would love to hear, some of the things that we can do with our kids over the summer.
Okay. Basically, I'm going to share some websites that may be helpful for you to work with your children, various ages. Some will cover preschool, and some will cover your elementary age children. Um, do I just click here?
if you want to just call out the websites, then
Okay.
what we'll do is we'll gather them up and then just tell us. I think one of the things that Natasha's going to do is share some resources, and of course, overachievers like we all are. She came up with quite a few of them, but I asked her, could she like narrow it down maybe to the top 4?
I know I get overly zealous when it comes to, just anything dealing with children, because I've been in education for almost 16 years, and it's just been my passion, and I just love working with children. And my husband said, "Gosh, you get so excited, Natasha." And I said, just seeing those little people grow up and become, successful adults is what I'm, looking for. And I believe their foundation, you have to build that foundation from the bottom in order for it to, happen. So I just get real passionate when it comes to these things. I'm sorry about that.
Well, when you start so early as a 5-year-old, as a media specialist, I mean, how could you not like just have such enthusiasm?
But as because I asked Regina, how many do you need? Because I have about 7, 8, 10, and she's like, no, Natasha,
94.
they're down to 4. But a couple of them I did pull up. I use these because I deal with vendors all the time when I order different materials for the library. And one of the vendors that I deal with is Capstone Publishers, and they do have a website called capstonekids.com, and it has different links on it that deals with the different characters that they have in their different books that they publish within their house. And they also have a link to where you can make things with your kids, because my daughter, she loves arts and crafts and her hands. So basically, you have to reach your children at their learning levels, whether they want to do hands-on activities, whether they are visual, those different modalities. That's the word that I'm looking for. So I kind of have to pull from different resources, but they also have games. A lot of my Christian is a game player, so they have educational games as well as quizzes that link to their books. So if you go to your public library and you check out a book with capstone on it, you can actually go to their website and look up that book so your child can take a quiz on that particular book, and that will let you know if your child is really understanding what he or
Right.
she is reading. So basically, anyone can, pick up a book, call the words, but are they really understanding what they're reading? So I thought that was a very key, link that could be used on the site
Right.
with, quizzing your child.
Natasha, I do want to say too is, and just yesterday we went over to the library. No, yesterday, Tuesday, we went to the library and signed the kids up for the summer reading program.
Exactly.
And so, looking at your local library, public libraries as resources, is a great place to get some free stuff. For me, access to free air conditioning. And it encourages the kids. The branch we went to was really a kid-friendly branch, and so it encouraged for them to just hang out. And I think we spent maybe an hour and a half there. We probably should have left about 15 minutes a little bit earlier than we did, just because they had met the capacity.
Right.
But yeah, I think I'm really looking forward to going to visit that site because my girls picked these books out, and some of them I was not really sure, but they wanted them, and so I want to encourage for them to stretch. But I also don't want to feel that they're defeating, themselves.
Exactly.
So it's a plus and minus. So what's another site? What's another site that you want us to check out this summer?
Another one that I want you to check out is FunBrain. I don't know if you've ever heard of FunBrain. I've used this for years in my classroom. It has math and reading skills. Again, it covers the different modalities of children. You can find things in which your children can make, as well as playing games, but they also link it to educational. Like one that I'm looking at now is called the Grammar Gorillas. And that's going to be very important when it deals with Common Core, when we move to the Common Core curriculum. Grammar, is kind of something that we used to teach within writing, but now they're going to have to kind of teach it a little bit more in isolation because we got away from the isolation. Now we're back, to making sure that children know what an adjective is, know what a noun is. So this is some good fundamental practices for your children. So
Great.
this is another great site.
And that was funbrain.com. Okay,
That
great.
sounds like something KJ would love.
Yes, and also math too. It covers math. Like my third grader, he was doing multiplication this year, so learning those basic facts. And you know how we get away from the fundamental of things. So this different site hones in on those skills. So teaching those.
Oh, nice. Thank you.
Another one, I don't know if you guys know about Storia. Storia is through Scholastic. That's another publisher that we use. iPads, if you have those iPads, you can download 5 free books from Storia, excuse me.
Spell that, Tasha?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, can you spell that for me?
It's Storia.
Storia.com, okay.
And it's through Scholastic. And basically those are ebooks. Yes. You can download 5 free ones. They do give you 5 free ones, but the other ones you have to pay for. But that's a big push too within the school system where the kids are using more ebooks. And this is one company that I did order some from, and you can, like I said, as well, download them to your iPad. And having your kids use iPads is very important too because they're going to use them a lot with the Common Core curriculum because everything ties into technology. This is a great
And you said that story. Tell me how to spell that one more time. I'm sorry.
story. It's Storia.
And I like how you said that, because I think Regina and I were actually talking about this the other day, and really trying to find that balance with our children, that they have things and are exposed to things that weren't even an idea when we were growing up. And so my daughter, my 20-month-old, loves my iPhone and my iPad, and can manage it and find things and do things that I didn't even teach her how to do. She even saw me go to YouTube one time, and now she goes to YouTube, every day. And and it's interesting because there was a couple things I showed her on YouTube. So whenever she wants to do the song "Jesus Loves Me" with the sign language, or Minnie Mouse, those are the two things that she equates to the iPad. And so whenever she gets on it, she's got to look at Minnie or listen to that song. But it's just amazing how she can navigate through it with really no help. And so I've definitely tried to use it instead of saying, oh, I don't want you playing with that.
Exactly.
Or that's not going to work. So you flip it, and yeah, she's got a ton of educational things on there. All the sign language, all of it that I've taught her has been through an app. And so now she goes to that app on her own, and has learned all these words that I don't even know, because she just looks at this app all the time. So I definitely think instead of fighting it and oh, they need to write pen and pencil, like I was talking to my aunt the other day, oh, but they're not going to know how to write a letter. And I said, it's okay.
When is the last time you've gotten a letter that didn't ask for money?
Right.
Exactly. And
That's okay.
People aren't writing as much as they used to anyway. Everybody's typing, and that's another good point that you just made. You're going to have to more, make your kids type more too, because everything that they will be taking on their Common Core test will be on the computer, so they will have to type out all of their answers. So I know we use Type to Learn in the school system to help them with their typing skills, but if you can find anything to help your children with basic, typing skills,
I have a suggestion. As I've shared with many folks, my oldest daughter, Sims, has an IEP and has some challenges, learning challenges, and one being dyslexia. And so we know that typing is going to be important for her. She's going to have a lot of use of computer coming up in the 4th grade. So what they suggested is this summer we spend time on a website called Map Dance, and it's actually a BBC website. And it has these different levels that teach the home row keys, and for each level they get these rewards, and she really likes it. I had already invested in Mavis Beacon, but they actually told me Mavis Beacon was being used more for adults and also high schoolers. So the Map Dance definitely is more age appropriate. And I'm going to see if I can, if it's .com or .org, and see if I could pop it up. I did want to say thanks to Sylvia Global again for allowing for us to share this information. One of the great things is, I don't know if you all have noticed, but I've been popping up on the screen some of the websites that Natasha has been sharing with us. And so that's because, Sylvia Global has helped us figure out how to use technology to continue to share information with devoted moms all over the world. And so Map Dance is going to be my contribution. And I was going to try to find a link for it. But if you Google Map Dance, I'm sorry, it's Dance Map. So dance is in the activity, and map is in how do you find yourself.
Dance Map, okay.
And I've got the screenshot for your thoughts. I'm sorry. Okay. Anything else that you want to bring to our attention as we probably get ready to wrap up? Natasha?
Oh, I'm sorry. Let's not, and I do have a couple more, and like Regina said, we will put those on the website. But just make sure that when you're reading with your kids or reading to them or listening to them, that you're attentive. You know how sometimes we can go and do other things and stuff like that. Take out at least 30 minutes, that, the minimum amount of time, and, sit there and actually foster the process, because that's very important that they see us involved with them. Also, don't forget about your print resources too. I still love print books as well. This is one chapter book.
What is that?
That the kids at my school and my kids really love. Miss Frizzle, the Magic School Bus.
Yes.
Science-related material, because we too have to make sure that the kids are reading nonfiction type information for Common Core. Miss Frizzle. Is it Frizzle, right?
Miss Frizzle?
Yeah, Miss Frizzle.
Oh my God.
The Magic School.
I grew up with her.
Yes,
That's
so.
like it's off the hook. I think that if Miss Social Security, Social Services will definitely have some issues learning what it might know. So, I know
Yeah.
we watch the video. Oh
Yeah, yeah, she has not just the chapter books. She, I made Regina excited.
Yes, see that.
See, I love it. But don't forget about print resources too, because I still love a good old fashioned book as well. Ebooks are fine, but print books dealing with science related subjects, as well as the Magic Tree House. Do you remember this series, Regina?
Yeah, if you're talking about for the older people, yes.
And it does give you the reading levels on the back of the books too, so you can know if this book is appropriate for your child's reading level as well. Um, Diary of the Wimpy Kid. My kid loves these.
Yep. Yeah.
These are
mine do
actually
too.
middle school.
Those are
collegiate,
hot
not
right now.
Yeah, they're hot, but a lot of the elementary school kids love them. Again, as all parents should do, you should also read and make sure the book is appropriate for what you want your kids to read as well. And I'm just going to share a couple more. I just get excited. Geronimo Stilton, especially for boys. A lot of like your Diary of the Wimpy Kid, Geronimo Stilton are good for boys, because boys tend to be our reluctant readers and stuff. So I try to get things that are just interesting for them, that I know that they'll read. So Geronimo Stilton is another character that boys tend to love, and girls love him too. So about a mouse, he goes through history and stuff and it does give them history as well. That
Right.
Oh, that's cool. I haven't heard of that one.
Also, comic book characters. Well, I shouldn't say comic book. That's the wrong term. Graphic novels. These are graphic novels. Excellent for your reluctant readers. As I just said, people think they're comic books, but they're not. They're not just superheroes. They have graphic history, graphic bios, on different people. So, go to your public library. These things are there. So, use your resources.
Hey, Tasha, and Natasha, just really quickly, for children who have challenges reading, the graphic novel is a great resource. And so the other day at the library, one of the things that Simi needed to get was a history book, and they had Egyptian focus on how the pyramid how the pharaoh got to the museum, and it was all about it was a graphic novel. It was great. So that's really good for folks who have children that have special learning abilities.
Exactly, I agree. And I ordered, like, the library that I took over didn't have any really, and I ordered a ton for the library, and I do buy them, for my son. But just in magazines, even your periodicals, Lego magazine, Geographic for kids, those two, that's reading. So just the whole point is get your children to read. That 30 minutes. If you, that's all you can allot for, 30 minutes a day.
30 minutes. Ooh.
And let me ask you just one quick question before we sign off, Natasha. What do you recommend for a child whose reading level is kind of high, but with some of the books they're too, they're too advanced as far as the subject matter for that age? What would you recommend for a child in that situation? Or she might have stepped away. So
she's on her way back to answer that
okay.
question about the reading level being really high, but the content level being a little inappropriate.
Mm-hmm. So what do you recommend for a child in that situation to read?
I would recommend, something in the media, in the middle, or either get some nonfiction books like animals,
Nonfiction, okay.
Space,
Mm-hmm.
try to play it safe, because you don't want to, like you said, expose them, even if they're like reading on a fifth grade level and they're a first grader. You wouldn't,
Right.
I'm just using that as a term. You wouldn't want to give them something that they're developmentally not ready for.
Right.
Perfect.
Natasha, what do you think about, and if we can close out on this question, what do you think about also challenging your young people to write their own books?
I love it. I love it. I think that's a very good, make them, you find some type of writing program for them. You should push that. We do have, like, within the county that I work with, a write a book contest.
Mm-hmm.
So that's something you should, pursue.
Right, right. Simi actually decided to do that on her own. She likes to draw, and she communicates through drawing, and so she made her own graphic novel. And her teachers were like almost in tears at the thought that she was doing this. But it made me think about, like, that also increases for the other children in my life. They get to talk about working on their comprehension skills and being able to relate a story. They're in camp right now. What happened at camp, what could have happened at camp, so that they can do some fiction and some nonfiction even. That's appropriate to their skill level.
And I would also, too, if you can't find a way to publish it, so she can have that, and she can look back and say, oh, I did this at third grade, and so she can continue. So that may foster her love of just, oh, I want to become a publisher, a writer, or something. You get what I'm saying? So I would figure out ways to kind of publish it, make it more, more professional.
We're actually going to scan it, make it a PDF, and email it to her teachers over the summer.
Exactly.
So that's something that she's decided that the project, she wanted to have it done by the time school was over and was really upset that she wasn't. So then we talked about alternatives to, sometimes when we have goals, we have to adjust them. And then to think that she was going to send an email to her favorite teachers was exciting. But I just want to thank you, Natasha, for all of your wonderful knowledge and sharing with us a little bit about being a mother of multiple. And we hope that we'll have you back on, because you are so multifaceted. You're one of my favorite people, and I'm trying to get her to join a book club with me. Can you believe this?
I know, and I'm a media specialist, and that is the saddest thing. It's like, being that devoted mom, we're thinking about everyone else.
Right.
But I do have some things that I'm going to read.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. So devoted moms out there, I think what we're hearing from the media specialist and devoted mom is, it's okay for you to read your smut while your kids are reading their Geronimo.
I know. I have to finish my last smut. Remember, I've been on that one for a while.
Yeah, I'm reading part 2 of my smut. I'm reading part 2 of my smut.
So thank you so very much, and I really hope that you become just a face of devoted moms.
Well,
with all that you bring.
I appreciate you guys having me. I was a little nervous at this.
I told her.
You were good.
Yeah. Thank you
Thank
so
you,
very
Tasha.
much. I really appreciate it. And I can't wait to get some of Reggie's egg salad. I'm going to see if I can hang around long enough.
Gotcha.
So, Tasha, do you have a God story for us to end on today?
Let me think. I mean, I'm sure I do.
I have a quick one.
Okay.
If you notice today, I am wearing butterfly earrings.
Okay.
And butterflies for me reminds me of when my oldest brother passed over 16 years ago. And I often felt like he came to visit me in butterflies.
Mm-hmm.
And so I have had a resurgence of noticing butterfly pictures. I haven't seen many butterflies yet this year, but I had purchased these earrings, never thought I would wear them because, they're juvenile, I guess. But I put them on today because I made a conscious decision yesterday to do something different. And to evolve very much like the caterpillar to the butterfly in my business. And so as a part of that commitment, I put my butterfly earrings on so that I could think about a renewed energy towards my own business, towards some of my relationships, and just kind of as a recommitment. And so I think that it was listening to the spirit.
Right.
But sometimes we need a little symbolism.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm very grateful that God has allowed for me to continue to redefine myself, and I turn into a caterpillar, and then I turn into a butterfly, and it will continue to happen like that as long as I think I'm breathing, as long as I got breath. I also want to give a big shout out to Sims Grace Alston, my now 9-year-old, who celebrated her birthday on Sunday. And typical of the Sims Alston tradition, it's still going on.
Yes. That's my girl. She learned well.
So it's still going on. So I am, trying to tell her that 48 hours. Can we just stick to 48 hours, not even 24? So there's so much to be grateful for in this world. And I, again, just want to send prayers and lots of love to you, Tasha, out there in California. Kiss, all of the fam for me.
Will do.
And, enjoy your visit home. Suck it up, girl. Because, soon, at some point, we won't be able to fly cross country.
Right.
It'll be different. So just enjoy that. Suck up your mom and dad as much as you can.
I will. Thank you so much. And thank you, Devoted Moms, for joining us today. And we will see you next Thursday, same time, same place.
Yeah. All
Bye.
right. See you on the other side, sweetie.
Bye.